right? And yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that means. Not letting him have everything, because whatever was good and profitable and lovely and whatever is noble, think on if there's any value, think on these things.
One thing that I did keep
that
with me was my music.
Yes.
And my music was my therapy going through my abyss. I went through about a year where I didn't make anything. This was in between the time I got kicked out and the time that I started living on my own, which is very confusing because I got sort of gently kicked out again. It was suggested to me that I can afford to live by myself.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, okay. Because it was nonstop fights there because I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm like, I just want to be left alone. I'm so confused. I just got kicked out by my brother. I thought he cared in a way that I needed him to and all that. And my identity's falling apart. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with my life. And here I am stuck working at a call center. Yeah. And I don't know what to think or do. This is big. Yeah. You make Christianity your whole life. This is the ambition is to make it your whole life.
So when it's gone, there is a death.
Yes, there is a death, and I'm trying to understand what life occurs after death.
Life after.
And so I moved out on my own, and at this time period, I wasn't creating anything. And the first song that I actually created was about my mom, because I never properly mourned about her, or mourned for her. And it was about 13 years after she died that I was finally like, you know what? I'm no longer sort of feeling like, no longer distracted by the drama of the step family. I'm no longer distracted by Bible verses that prevent me from maybe feeling pain that I need to feel. And I'm also on my own, and I don't really... It just kind of came out. It needed to come out finally. So I sat down to write it. It was about 3 hours of tears, and I wanted every word to make sense with how I really felt. And it was so therapeutic for me to write that song.
That's the one that's on the PJT album. The little
one.
I remember.
Yeah, from way back. I remember you supported me with that, and I appreciate that. That song I would listen to usually on Mother's Day because that was the day that she died. And that was the beginning of me doing music differently, because before then it was all just Christian music.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I wrote my own praise songs, and I would sometimes teach them to the youth group or whatever. I did my own Christian rap, and I wrote hundreds of songs. I still have a lot of them.
Wow.
And I'm planning on doing a video series on my YouTube channel where I'm going through the old Christian lyrics.
Wow.
I might rap them and then talk about how I could have thought those things and how differently I think now, and maybe how I would write them today.
Wow.
And again, I have hundreds that I can go through.
Yeah.
I've read some of them. There's so many cringeworthy things that I said, like, oh my God, these are the things that I hear in these debates that make me cringe. And like, I was saying the same things.
Wow.
So I stopped doing that music, and I think that's why I needed the year, because like, this is the only music I know how to make.
Yeah.
And now as I'm confused, I'm alone, what am I going to do? So the only thing I could do was just the most personal, honest thing, which was my mom.
Yeah.
So I wrote about her. And that started a journey of doing songs that were just kind of about where I was at that time. So I did all these other songs like Healing and all the sad things and Good Men, all these things. I'm like, okay, some things are just describing how I'm feeling right now, and some things are describing the experiences I went through. But I was very steadily starting to make music as myself, but it took a while to get away from Christian music.
Yeah.
In terms of musicality, sonic Christianity.
Because when a Christian song comes on, you know, even without the lyrics.
Yeah.
You can tell.
You know when it's Christian music. And so I was trying to get away from that, and like, I want to be myself with this. Trying to get away from the Christian lyrics, trying to get away from all that stuff. And the EP that I just came out with, Foibles and Fiction, is about two major things. It's about the relationships that I've been through. All of them are affected by religion in some way. and also directly related to religion and my family. So there's 2 songs on there, Odd One Out and Proud, which are very much about religion. And these were the first songs that I could really start talking about these things in a direct way.
No longer kind of hinted at on the side.
Exactly.
But looking at it face to face.
Which is what I was doing in all my other songs, hinting that just I would prefer to think this way now.
Yeah.
Or this is what I care about now. But never directly making a claim or an accusation or clearly saying this is wrong or whatever. I never really felt comfortable doing that because I was always on the fence. So it was pivotal for me to be able to finally wear a shirt like this and make songs like that where I can be like, you know what? It's time for me to come out.
Yeah.
In the same way homosexuals feel like or trans or whoever feels like they have to come out. I had to come out as an atheist in my music. I had already started to come out in social media, sort of, but I hadn't really come out in my music, which is interesting. It took longer for my music.
That's interesting because that's perhaps where you're really, in a way, both vulnerable, but also that's your authoritative voice. Do you want to say that?
True.
It's like this is if you have to express yourself in a complicated, subtle way, you're not going to write an essay. You're going to make a song.
It's true, and I think maybe it demands more of me to make the song than it does to make the post. So even though I usually if a Christian attacks something that I say, I'll take hours to write my response because I want it to be a home run. I don't want to miss anything. And I want to make people think. I basically want to end the conversation with my response. That's always the ambition. It may not always happen, but that is always my ambition, because if I cannot answer things in that way, then what the hell am I saying?
Right.
I need to be able to do that. So when I write the songs now, I think it demands me to go to a deeper place internally, and it becomes something way more permanent as well.
Because it's not an argument; it's a expression. Like it's so it takes a lot more of you, because the argument's just this.
It's true,
right? Because you're pouring in not just feelings, but feelings that have been fermenting forever. Because because the art is like the tip of the flower, supported by everything that came before it. That's a very flowery analogy.
It is.
Because I use flower in it.
It's very true, and it's because of that I can't sort of rush or fake my way to it. Not that I'm doing that with my posts or whatever, but with the song, like, I have to be all in it. So it's like, if I'm gonna say this, I really have to be convinced about it in the song.
Nothing held back.
Nothing held back. And if I felt like I wasn't there, then I wasn't making that kind of song. But now, here I was clearly saying, and Proud, the first half of the song is about me saying farewell to the belief in a God. I no longer believe it, and it's something that I see problems with as well. And then the second part is about saying farewell to the pride that I had in being the religious sibling in my family, where we used to have something special, and we don't have that anymore. We just don't. And how the hell did that happen? You know? And it really is because of religion, because they are not that kind of person, nor am I. We are not those kind of people. But this religion compels people to make decisions that produces this sort of result. And they do it convinced that they're doing it out of the highest form of love and the highest form of respect and consideration or whatever. And it's just not right. It's just not right that you go through a life like Pamela did and her life gets destroyed, that none of us could make Christianity resonate with her when she was trying to make it resonate with her. This is a problem. It's a problem when I grew up devout and I go to ministries and Bible colleges and I believe the same way anybody else does, which is why they asked me to preach and to lead and to give my testimony, because they were just as convinced as I was. even though apparently now
Yeah.
I was never genuine. They were just as convinced as I was, and somehow this results in this division with my family in a way that it really doesn't need to happen. So being able to put out these songs is pivotal for me. I wanted to write them in such a way where I expect my family to listen to it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be firm.
Yeah.
I wanted to be honest with myself, regardless of how that sounded, but I wanted to make as much as possible digestible for the mind that I am expecting them to listen to. Which is a mind that does not agree. A mind that thinks that I'm completely out of my mind. That I'm just as lost as any other non-Christian. It is so difficult to write for that mind, to write for my mind and theirs at the same time. And this caused me to go back and forth with the lyrics all the time. Maybe more than half the lyrics are what they are now are not what they were when they started. I usually start off writing exactly how I feel, and it usually ends up being not digestible. Usually it's too harsh.
It needs to be cooked and seasoned a bit.
Yes. It needs a little bit of salt and pepper, and a little dash of digestibility.
Some oily that lets it go down nice.
Yeah, something that lets it go down good. So I wanted to do that without diluting it. And I feel like I got it to a place where I can feel like I did that for myself. Whether or not it resonates with them, if they ever see it, I have no idea. I don't expect anything. I don't expect them to understand. I don't expect them to want to even see it, maybe, some of them. But I had to say it. I had to stand up for myself, and I couldn't necessarily say it to them in a direct conversation. So it kind of had to be this way.
Because it might have not even been communicated the way that it actually feels.
No, this was a song that took months to make. And I deliberated over every word, over the music, that make sure that it was representing musically how I felt emotionally on what the words were saying. I wanted the music to be, I wanted it to be emotional, but I also wanted it to be somewhat encouraging, because I put that message at the end. Because I've been really touched by the stories of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and so many others who have gone through so many similar things. It's an epidemic how often it happens.
Especially now, and it's happening more and more often. That album, because I have it, I listened to the whole thing, and I gotta say, it's one of those things that is important to come out now, because these are the stories that people are telling. I think you should all get it. I wish that thing was still running. But it really is one of these things that it can provide a soundtrack for people going through any kind of deconstruction. Right? A lot of these songs, because so much of what is happening now is us looking backwards at ourselves and going, what was I doing? That broke me, and why was I so proud of that? Right? So to be able to hear that, and that's one of the really important things about artists who are looking at the world the way they see it now, even if it's different from how they saw it before, and then just faithfully showing it.
I agree. It's so important, and I feel like we don't learn how to do that.
We don't. And maybe we can't. Maybe that's what art is for.
Maybe.
To teach each other how to do that.
I don't know if you picked up on it, but in the beginning of Proud, I played clips from Christian raps, and one of them is the Deep Blue song.
No way. I don't actually know the Deep Blue song.
The one that I performed for KLBC Choir at some churches.
Oh!
Deep Blue. You're diving into cold truth.
Were you ever there? I left that choir.
You did?
Because that year, I was in a play at Trent. So I didn't go on I stopped going on the choir trips. I stopped going on the choir trips.
That was probably when I started to do that. Because I wasn't.
I remember hearing about that now. Wait, Deep Blue. Dude, I know. I've heard that. I know I have.
Deep Blue, you're diving into cold truth. Can't go much further than a single breath allows you. And then I would do this dance at this one part that everyone would ask me to do, but I can only do it at certain churches. They'd be accepting of it.
No.
But all of our classmates were like, "Yeah, do the dance or whatever." I thought this was great about Christianity. Not about Christianity, but about KLBC, that they would let me do that. But it was also not great because I was only allowed to do it at liberal churches.
Yes.
And so for me, it was like, shouldn't I just be able to do it everywhere?
Right.
One extreme or the other doesn't
work.
Yeah, I like completely not letting me do it, or only letting me do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But letting me do it all the time is the extreme. But that would make more sense to me. But yeah, there's a little clip of Deep Blue in the beginning, and this was to suggest that that I'm done away with that part of me musically, that I can now talk about the way I am now.
And then so that's like just the echo reverberating off of, I guess, the studio of life as you get into your next bit.
Yeah. And those were songs that they were hallmarks, I guess, within my faith. Another one was called "Flowing Through Your Veins." This is one that another guy we know, I won't mention him, of the family of the girl I dated from Bible college. It was one of his favorite songs of mine. He really liked it, and that was validating to me as a young Christian musician.
As an earnest young man.
Yes, and right off the top of my head, I can't remember what the third one is, but basically, I still have some of those I still have the lyrics written down on paper. Most generations these days won't know what paper is, but I also still have some of the recorded versions of some of these old songs.
Oh, that's cool.
Once in a blue moon, I'll go through and listen to them for as long as I can before I kind of feel like puking.
Yeah.
And it is mind-boggling to think of how different I am now. That I cared so much about these things to want to write songs, and now I care so much about the opposite to want to write songs about the opposite. It's baffling to me.
Yeah.
But it was so liberating to write those songs. So liberating that they're out now, and I am so excited to write so many more songs now because I have a lifetime now of songs that I can write about.
So this Foibles in Fiction is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like not a pivot, but it's like a cathartic, now I'm ready to go forward.
It does feel like that, yeah.
Because you are addressing the past in a lot of them, in a direct way that you've never done.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. I think it was me finally being able to get the last kind of shackle off.
A little closure.
Yeah, because the thing with my family, it's been haunting me for the longest time, and not being able to really talk about it,
really address it explicitly.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I tried throughout the years, once in a while, with like an email or, face to face with my sister sometimes, or over the phone. And again, like my sister is who I get the most understanding out of, and I think it's because she's one of these people who, she may be a Christian, but she clearly gets all her wisdom from her natural inclination to understand people and life and the way things work. Because she's told me lots of stories about lessons that she taught her kids in certain experiences or problematic sort of situations.
Yeah.
And the logic that she uses, it's not Bible verses.
Right. It's experience.
A person
listening.
could easily say that these things came from this particular Bible verse, but for her, it came from her because the way that she lived her life or the way that she observed people, because she's just that perceptive.
Yeah.
And I told her this, I'm like, I don't really attribute your wisdom to your Christianity. I just don't. I think you're just naturally that perceptive about people, about life. And I've known other people like that who are in religion who they would say that they're religious, but clearly they're just smart about reality.
So instead of for them Christianity being the source of wisdom, their own wisdom gives wisdom to Christianity.
I totally think that. I think their wisdom validates the asserted wisdom of religion. And I think their wisdom comes from again, from personal experience, basically. This is
Yeah.
where anybody's wisdom, the only place it can come from.
Yeah.
We live, we make mistakes, we learn from them.
Yeah.
And we try to do better. We try. So, you know, I tried to reach out to my family a bunch of times, and they all kind of failed in one way or another, to the point where I was just like, I don't want to try anymore in this way, at least, or not until I reach a certain level of knowing how to talk to them.
Yeah.
So underneath why I'm also going to these debates and street epistemology is because I want to learn how to reconcile with them, but not in a false way.
Yeah.
Not in a way where we're just paying lip service to each other. not in a way where we're just pretending like things are the way they were because we're not talking about the elephant in the room. No.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the elephant.
Yes.
I want us to be who we were as siblings while talking about the elephant.
Yeah.
That is my dream.
Yeah.
I don't really have... my motivation is not necessarily agreeing about the elephant.
Certainly.
I just want us to be a family while addressing the elephant.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what it should be. There's lots of secular friends that I've been making now through the program that I went through at Sheridan and all that who this is what I have with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with them on everything. Some of them were sort of like loose, sort of practicing Muslims. Mm-hmm. Some of them were other things, whatever. They all have their own opinions of what, God is an energy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to me that we really don't treat each other differently. We don't see each other differently. We don't see each other as ministries.
Yeah.
We see each other as people.
Yeah.
Who you can say, minister our ideas to. But I don't see you as an objective.
Yes.
A ministry objective. I see you as a person, and we are gonna make sure that regardless of what we talk about or disagree about, that we are good at that.
Yeah.
Because this is the most important thing. Not the blood being thicker than the water.
Right.
That we are putting this water above the blood, I guess, is how we would technically have to say it.
Yeah, I guess. Water is certainly more hydrating than blood.
Yes.
And spilling it is a lot safer than spilling blood.
That is true. So let's play with water a little bit more.
Play with water more.
Let the blood just kind of stay where it is in the body, doing its functioning thing.
Oh, Jim Elliot in his journal wrote recently. He wrote, he's big in the martyr rhetoric, right? I'm reading him recently. He said, blood is not of value unless it is poured out in front of your altar. And I was thinking, it's quite valuable inside my veins.
Wow. Yeah, even as a Christian, I would have felt obligated to agree with something like that. I'm like, okay, I can find the Christian reason to agree with that. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I had intense heroes.
Who would you say is a hero for you now?
That position is vacant.
From the Bible or in the world?
Like in the world?
Anywhere.
I can't. That's interesting.
Do you have one?
Well, I still my dad, still, even though he passed away, but his whole life was just, there are times where I feel like I need to keep growing. I think of my father and how meaningful life he lived and how I saw it bearing fruit basically in every possible way. So
see, and that's
that used to be
such a different kind of.
No, not so much.
But
it's
still
interesting.
A hero in a weird way.
It's interesting the qualification. Why was your father's faith valuable? Because of his life, and because he attributed his life's spiritual successes to his spirituality. That commended it. The arguments, the debates, the trying to prove this and that, and trying to claim that Christianity is the sole source of morality. That's empty. That's the empty shell.